is Thione Niang. I am originally from Senegal. I live now in Washington, D.C., and I was living in Cleveland, Ohio before that for almost 9 years. I am the chair now of the Young Democrats of America International Affairs Committee and also the president and founder for the Give One Project. Well, the American dream to me, honestly, is still alive. You're looking at a young man who left his hometown, Senegal, to come to the United States with nothing but 20 bucks and not being able to communicate the language as is supposed to, and don't have a family background in the United States just 10 years ago. And today, speaking with you and to young people across the world, and being able to empower thousands of young folks to do the same thing that I'm to get more involved in their communities. So I'm a witness to that. That the American dream is still possible. America is a country where everybody can create their own history. It doesn't matter where you come from or how much you come with. It depends on how hard you want to work and how big you want to dream, and also how hard you want to work to make your dreams become reality. The economic issues that we're facing today in the United States and anywhere is all over the world. It's not only America. I was a community organizer for the campaign. I was based on the last quarter of the campaign in Cincinnati, a very, very difficult area to organize because Cincinnati, Ohio is very historic in our election cycles in the United States. There's a lot of independents, and also it's very difficult to know where the vote is going to go. So I was there basically trying to turn that area blue, working with a team of young people in our team. In the beginning of the campaign, I started with Iowa, and then from Iowa, I traveled around the nation. Before Iowa, I went to Chicago. That's where I did my trainings. So basically, my job in the campaign was organizing, same thing that President Obama did during his young age. Well, it was more difficult for me because, first of all, the cultures are different. Everything. It was a cultural shock, first of all, and then you don't have the support system that you need because there's no family, there's no financial issues. You have problems with that because, again, America is a capitalist country, and I didn't have none of those things. But it gives you something that not any other country that I know of around the world won't give you. Is that there is room to grow if you want to. It's a very competitive country if you can compete, if you can work hard. I understood earlier that I just have to dream very big and go after it. It wasn't that easy now. It's hard work. It was a lot of sacrifices that were made. I started from cleaning tables, in restaurants, Marriott Hotel, the hotel I'm staying today. That's what I was doing for them, cleaning tables, being able to pay for school myself and sending money home, and sometimes not having enough to eat because there's no money, but with time, things has changed because I was putting a lot of time to pay my dues, as they say in the U.S., volunteer on campaigns when I wanted to get involved in politics for almost 2 years without getting paid, but understanding the process. And then when my value came up to now I understand how things work, then I put a price on it. And when you get a price on it and you can prove that you can do it, then things starting to change, I think, I've been coming to Europe for almost 2 years, back and forth. I've done a lot of talks with young people around Europe, in France, in Belgium, in Holland, and also in Italy, and you name it, Germany. But what I'm finding out with the young minorities is that they don't have the same kind of love and attachment to the new countries as we do in the U.S. And what struck me the most also is that most of those young people were born here. I wasn't born in the United States, but I'm one of those young immigrants who I love my new country. I would die for America in a heartbeat because it's a country that's given me everything. I'm originally from Senegal, but the U.S. also is giving me more than my own country because it helped me reach my dreams to be able to inspire other young people. It's giving me more so I can share with her, so I can even help home. So I said in France in a conference that I've done there, it's like, you know, it's like two parents that you have, the father and the mother. You have to love them both. You just can't be doing a comparison. And what I'm finding out with those young people, what are they telling me? What I'm getting from them is that the system in Europe not opening up to them. They always looking at them as you are not from here. You are, if you are French, they say originally from where? That's the first question they ask you. Where are you from? Even if you were born there. And the same thing here in Belgium. I know they feel in the same way because I talked to a lot of young immigrants here on the internet and everywhere else. I think that the advice that I would give to both sides, not only the young people, though, but also not only the government, but also the young people. First, the governments they have to figure out the way to do the same thing or even better than what U.S. has done, is to capitalize into your your immigrant base, meaning capitalizing on to our differences. Because usually when immigrants come, they come with the idea of as we say in the U.S., this hunger that they want success because they want something different. Because what their new country is giving them, they didn't have at home. So you open more doors, more windows, more opportunities for them. You create things like entrepreneurship, and it'll help, boost your economy because they're hardworking people. Not all of them now, because there's exceptions to everything. But it should be the same thing they say here, the equality. It should be the same for everybody. Not John won the job, he has a degree. Mamadou or Muhammad won the job, has the same degree. It shouldn't be, because the kids telling me that your story is only possible in the U.S., which I challenge them. But they tell me, look, I can have a PhD. Another young white guy has a PhD. I'm Arabic, or I have a Muslim name, or I'm African origin. They will not give me the job, and it creates frustration for young people. And in return to that, it's hurting your country. It means, you believe it or not, if once it's hurt, everybody's gonna feel it. That's just how humanity is now. Everything is just so connected. Because if they're frustrated, they're not giving back to their country, as we're doing as young immigrants in the United States. Now, for young people, what I'm telling them is that you don't wait for things to change. You don't wait for John to change your conditions because things are not working the way you want it to work. You've got to be proactive to making that difference. Those policies that are put together in Europe or anywhere else around the world are done by politicians. So if the way it is in Europe you don't want it, you have to get involved in politics. Because a lot of them in Europe are not involved in politics as we are in the United States. Me, when I saw that I can make a difference in my local communities, I got involved in where the decision was being made. Then I became one time the president of the Young Democrats in Cayuga County, then sit now in the executive board, now generally in the Young Democrats in the nation, heading the International Affairs Committee. Now in a position where I can put pressure on politicians. I can talk and I can be listened to. I can participate, you see. But if I was just a part of some of those immigrant groups in New York, a lot of my fellows friends from Africa, Senegal, they live in communities they don't want to get involved in the American system. But I refuse to do that. It's my new country. I have to participate to what's going to make the country better. Not only for me, but for my children. Because I understood that America is not a perfect country now. All right? And for America to be where it is today, it took people like Martin Luther King, who fought for the civil rights movement with his people. They fought for that. If they sat on the side and just say, you know what, black people, so we're not allowed, because I'm black, I'm not allowed to be in front of bus, I'm not allowed to participate in politics in certain levels, so I just leave it the way it is. Then President Obama wouldn't be president today. Then I wouldn't be here talking to you today. The point that I'm making is that it always took people who engaged to change the way that things go, for the benefit not only of that generation, but for generations to come. So what I'm telling the young Europeans is that the conditions that you're living in, if you're immigrant here, can change. But you're going to have to change. You can't blame the system. if you're not agreeing with the system, you can vote, get involved, organize. But when you get involved, you can change things. But you can't just change it by throwing out rocks or, blowing buses and cars and, cussing out the system and hate the country. You can't be in a country, excuse me, that's giving you so much and hate it. I just don't get it. If I feel like it, I go back to my home country. I say it in France. Some young people didn't like what I said, but I really feel that. If I live in a country that I really hate that much, I'd rather, go back to my country and make it better. But I think personally that responsibility is both sides, the governments and also the young people. But me personally, I don't wait for nobody to give me anything. All right, President Obama has told us something during the campaign that I really believe in. He says that power is not given; it's taken. You want it, you go get it. Nobody owe you nothing. And what I'm doing in America today, I know it's going to benefit my son because I'm fighting for a better America. I'm helping to participate. I can do it by myself, but I know I can bring something to the table. That little thing can help my son Elijah, the 5-year-old, tomorrow maybe to have a better health care. Well, my dad fought for that. Even if I persuaded 2-3 people to vote for it, I've done my part. But I can't sit on the sidelines and complain about America, we don't have health care, we don't have this, we don't have that, and I'm not willing to work for it. You want change? You gotta work for it. That's what the president said. Same thing for Europe. I think you got a great opportunity here to re-engage the young people, the minority especially, to get them involved because it's the benefit of Europe. Also, it's the benefit not only for Europe but for the world. And for our generations to come, we gotta find ways to capitalize on our differences, not to use them against us. So that's my thinking. Well, what I want to see is that to be able to empower more young people to do more for themselves, to do more for their communities, to do more for the world. Because I'm very concerned to where we are now in the world. Because of growing up in poverty, I understand poverty. I understand how devastating it can be. I've been traveling the world. I see so many areas where young people are very desperate. They need so much. And I see wars around the world, Afghanistan, Iraq, so many other civil wars going on. And I know personally that, our generation is going to have to deal with that, to most of those issues that's going on around the world. And we have to take responsibility now to what we can do to make the world better. And for that to happen, we have to empower more young people to take leadership roles across the world, to understand that our differences, especially whether it's religion, or whether it's our skin, or whether it's our backgrounds, is a plus to all of us. But it's not something that we should use to divide us. And if we start looking at what brings us together and bringing young people together to understand our commonalities, to fight for to one goal, one common purpose, which is making humankind better, whether it's in education, whether it's in poverty, to change that, in wars, to try to finish that across the world, then I'm okay. That's what I'm fighting for. I'm just fighting to travel in the world, to empower, to work with young people, to bring them together. That's why I created a nonprofit, the Give One Project. And through that nonprofit organization, I'm able to bring young people like David, who's here with me, in the United States for the internships, and also the ones in Senegal, the ones in the US, going all to Senegal to do exchange programs. They do conference calls, they do community services in their respective areas, where also they get to know each other. He's been in the US for 3 months, spend time with the young Americans over there in New York and in Cleveland, in Washington, D.C., Chicago, travel around, understand how we live, understand how we think. They build relationships. In 10, 15 years from now, they've been in leadership position. They already understand each other, that they have really one common purpose. And if we're able to do that, then I'm okay. That's where my goal is. And I'm working hard daily to work on that between countries from south, north, west, anywhere else that I can be.